In 2014, we received the 6th Halloween special for TF2, and in that update, we received a brand new map from Valve called Carnival of Carnage. And even though it was released as a reskin of SD Doomsday, a very unpopular map, I still consider it a classic due to its unique minigames and setting. Just the notion of a map that takes place in a spooky carnival makes so much sense for a game like TF2, and the various assets that Valve created are stunning. So when I saw this map for the first time, I was immediately drawn in. It's called Circus, a player destruction reskin of Nucleus, and it was created by a man named Diva Dan. The map starts off in this little courtyard with 3 portals, upper, main, and lower. Each portal teleports you to a different spawn room located on one side of the map. Once you're out, you're immediately confronted by this giant spinning hoop with green flames and a skull. If it looks tempting to touch, that's because it is. By blast jumping towards it, or by using this green launch pad that cycles through one of 3 different locations, you can grab the skull, which gives you 1 soul to deposit into the clown core, whose portal opens up every 75 seconds and lasts for 45. Inside the clown core arena, players have increased speed, reload time, and infinite double jumps, similar to the Minify spell. Deposit 30 souls and you win. So that's how the map works, but honestly, I'm more interested in looking at the map, because its visuals are among the best I've seen in TF2. Let's go back to the initial spawn area with the 3 portals. Dan told me that he made it this way for 2 reasons. First, to spread out players throughout the arena to avoid spawn camping. And 2, because this is a Halloween map and he wanted to make something different. It's very experimental and divisive, but I think we can all agree that it looks beautiful. Just look at the 3D Skybox. It's full of Ferris wheels and circus tents decorated with dim yellow lights that appear to go on forever. At the center, right behind the portals, is the main tent where the map takes place, and on top of the tent is this orb with green electricity orbiting around it underneath a swirling cluster of clouds. The whole area feels very ominous and liminal, and I just think it's cool that we can actually see the outside of the map that we play in. It's almost as if we're the circus animals trapped in this endless and horrifying dimension. Inside of the actual spawn rooms are your usual Halloween decor, but what's cool is that there's a portal that can take you back to the starting area. And if you stare at it for a while, you might consider subscribing and using the link in the description or code LED on Shockbite to receive 25% off your first server. Walking down the hallways next to the spawn rooms, there's so much detail shoved in your face from everywhere and I love it. Just look at this corner. This is the kind of detail that tells a story. Like, maybe this pumpkin used this light to blind its enemy while it beat it to death with this board, also that it could consume this burger and fries. The walls are just as interesting as the halls, with the trim color on these wooden bits reflecting the side you're on. And the ceilings are filled with sharp and pointy stalactites just waiting to fall on your head. If you loop around to the opposite side of the map, you'll find this banana peel lying deviously close to this pit, which you should definitely step on. I heard you can find some golden frying pans down there. Alright, let's talk about the centerpiece of this map, the giant hoop. Dan told me that when he started making the map back in 2020, which at the time of this video being created is 3 years ago, his main focus was this hoop and the jump pads. And what better map to do it on than Nucleus? So he figured out a way to do it and redesigned the rest of the map around it. To quote his exact words, circle hoop into circle map. You're absolutely right, Dan. In the first iterations of the map, the hoop actually gave players various buffs like crits, but it was nerfed in order to keep things more calm and ease up the gameplay. Dan also told me that these monitors that watch over the entire clown core work by using a point camera parented to this funk track train that follows this path made from these path track entities. Everything that the camera sees is then projected onto these screens in the main section of the map. They're a wonderful detail that makes the map feel more lively, and I honestly can't picture the map without them. If you look below the hoop into the pit, you'll see our good old friend Bonzo, who recently consumed Sylvia on Selbian, and 4 spinning bongos. These are actually the same bongos used on Laughter, another one of Dan's maps that got accepted back in 2019. They aren't just cosmetic and can actually save you from falling down and suffering the same fate as Sylvia. The inspiration for these, Dan told me, is Peggle's free ball that you have a chance of getting on a complete miss. The last thing I want to talk about is the clown core arena. Originally, Dan wanted it to be some form of bumper carts, similar to what we see in other maps like Carnival of Carnage and Gravestone. But because they're not very easy to drive and in most cases are more frustrating than enjoyable, he scrapped that idea and just made it into an OP power-up arena. As Dan says, don't take away their guns and they will stay happy. There's a lot to see on this map, and I encourage you to take a look for yourself using the link in the description. Hopefully Valve gives this map a good amount of consideration, because if it were up to me, I'd accept it in a heartbeat. Thank you for watching. This is LED switching off.